again. I'm going to get into picks and bans. Fnatic on the blue, they elected to be on the blue side, and Schalke will probably sit with those traditional red side bans. Aatrox, Taliyah, Nocturne, maybe even the Zoe.
Always some of the picks we are looking at. When you play against Caps, however, there are a lot of different picks, and it's scary to blind pick against him, because we've seen the Wukong coming in last week. Surprising, I think, a bit for Misfits. They played around that mid lane very well, and it is just so important to highlight that Fnatic played against a 9-0 Misfits. This is some of the clips from that game, and they stomped Misfits. They got mid lane going. They used that to just force plays everywhere. And this was not just a solo carry performance by any means. It was actually a great team effort, especially Hylissang and Broxah did everything correct around that mid lane.
Well, we do see the traditional bans coming out here, Aatrox, Taliyah, but then it's the Pyke next, trying to shut down Hylissang, who was so influential in that game against Misfits. Means Fnatic immediately turn their eyes towards that Nocturne.
I'm looking at Gragas as well as a pick here. We know Fnatic loves it. They can always put a top lane for SOAS. Schalke as well should value grabbing an early tank that can be swapped around in different lanes. Poppy is also open, which has been the go-to pick for Vizicsacsi so far. It is another Rise coming in. This is Schalke, to me, saying we are playing around this Rise pick to force these skirmishes. It's not to just go all in team fighting everywhere. It's the point-and-click CC into strong single target damage paired with an ulti to move from your lane. If Nukeduck gets out of that laning phase and can do what Perkz did last game, suddenly the Rise pick can keep forcing plays on the map.
Doesn't have to be played in the mid lane either. We did see Bwipo play it in the bottom lane in that matchup against Misfits. Upsets could play it here, of course.
Very true. Can always put it down to the bottom lane. I've even seen Rise top lately. I mean, you can play so many different things in the current meta. Shen support is what it normally is on the side of Fnatic, especially now without the funnel where you could put Shen in the jungle next to him. And there's that Gragas pick.
Gives you that extra tank if you need it. Has a lot of damage in the Bruiser build as well with the Iceborne Gauntlet. Even an Abyssal Mask for that extra magic is a shred.
Look at the amount of dive towards the back line. Nocturne ult with a Shen on top of him. Gragas ulti for disruption. Like Fnatic, it's Bruisers, tanks. It's a lot of tools to reach the back line and try and kill Nukeduck or Upset, depending on what Schalke ends up drafting. Most likely the Trundle jungle for Amazing on his side. And if they do pair that with a Rise in the mid lane, there is a lot of CC to set up plays, but we have to get the full comp, because Fiddle is always going down to the support role. He's squishy, especially against Nocturne.
So we know it's Fiddle support. Trundle could be top, probably jungle though. Rise could be bot lane, could be mid lane. Still a bit of flexibility here for Schalke. We expect the Nocturne to be in the jungle role. However, if Vedius was here, and he was meant to be, unfortunately he's sick today, he would say that could still go mid. I played with him when he plays it mid, doesn't always work out, but can be very influential and almost similar to the Nocturne in the way that you just dive onto that backline.
And that is the beauty of having large champion pools in a meta where there is a lot of flex picks, because you surprise the enemy team. They're like, okay, great, Gragas top, we pick something against the Gragas, and then you surprise them, move the Gragas to the jungle, and you lock in something that works well in that matchup. Cho'Gath top lane. Now, I understand a lot of top laners like Cho'Gath, but I want to highlight that Schalke have not found success on this pick. Vizicsacsi is still notorious for getting caught in side lanes, and that is where Cho'Gath can't do anything. So it's a risky pick in that sense, even though it's just a tank in the top lane. Schalke not running a draft with a lot of punch just yet.
Victor going to be locked in here for Fnatic. Expect that to go to mid lane for Caps, but you've
Orianna
also got the Orianna. You can be Orianna bot, could be mid. There's so many different options.
I'm thinking it's going to be SOAS bot lane with Hylissang. Hylissang is on the Shen. The Gragas goes top for Bwipo. The fact that, again, you can swap these players around. SOAS normally is the guy I'm looking at if it's something like Orianna Victor. That kind of style champion.
I mean, but SOAS has played all of the Gragas games that Fnatic have played this split.
Bwipo can grab
I'm sure he
Gragas
can. I'm sure he
for himself.
Final lock is the Yasuo for Nukeduck, so that mid lane is going to be incredibly exciting no matter what's picked there. Orianna's started to rise up in the meta. Fnatic locking that one in. Looks like it's going to be mid, but we'll wait until the 20-second mark before we actually say exactly what's going to go where.
Famous Trundle Yasuo combination. Pillar into Yasuo ult is a great 2v2 skirmish. Knock up as well from a Cho'Gath. Might be Whipple playing this Victor right now. He's had plenty of time, obviously, also to practice some of the different traditional mages and not just the Swain and the Vladimir. And yeah, it is him playing it, so you were right, Medic. Soas grabs his trusted Gragas for himself. Interesting pick and ban phase. Ryze versus Victor in the bot lane. The Victor pick itself, I'm not exactly expecting a lot of kills from it. But if you look at the amount of AoE damage combined with the dive we talked about earlier, Shockwave into a Victor ult. Very few champions will survive that.
You know what's a great way to deliver the Shockwave as well? Body slamming to explosive cast, or just a Nocturne ulting on towards your backline.
Shen taunt in, like a lot of setup here for Fnatic. Not the same kind of pure, you know, bruiser comp we have seen where it's like 4 tanks and then like a Swain. There's 2 squishy mages in Orianna Victor. And Nukeduck on Yasuo is trying to punish Caps on this Orianna, but Orianna is such a safe laner. Can go up against anything in the mid lane, and you don't have to play around that lane.
I think it's important we set the stakes for these two teams as well. Fnatic still fighting for that top spot after beating Misfits last week. They'd like to match up with G2 in second spot at 8-3. Chasing down Misfits, who almost look unattainable in first spot, but Schalke on the other hand, they win this, they equalize themselves with Fnatic. They start to prove that they are a team that battles for the top 4 in Europe, rather than being a team that doesn't even make playoffs.
It is very, very true. Now, Fnatic and Schalke did play against each other much earlier on in the split. It was week 1. This is a goal graph, which shows very clearly that Schalke, they were stomping Fnatic. Look at the goal lead at 20 minutes, 8K. It was against a funnel comp.
Just a slight lead.
And look what happened then. A Baron was taken at 21 minutes by Fnatic. It completely swung the game in their favor. Caps on Kai'Sa with all the supports around him was unkillable, and they ran over Schalke. It was one of those games where Schalke should have won. Everything was in their favor, but they failed to execute once Baron was alive. And that has been a problem for Schalke in a lot of games. I like to tweet out Year of Nukeduck, and I like to follow that tweet with Year of Schalke throwing at Baron, because it's happened quite a bit. Almost lost to H2K because of it. You can't afford to do that against Fnatic if you get a lead. They're too good if you mess up around that objective.
We are doing votes in Twitch chat for which team you think will win the game. If you think Fnatic are going to take it, make sure you spam FNC. If you think Schalke are going to take it, S04.
Level 1.
Level 1 gank here from Hylissang straight onto Nukeduck. Flash away first. Now Nukeduck is flashless, and I think the Fnatic fans are out in force in Twitch chat.
They are the favorites going in. You already said they're fighting to try and catch Misfits in that first place. They already beat them last week. More importantly, they want to lock the top 2 on their side. Upset and Vander got to start in the bottom lane, but Hylissang, while he lost experience, forced that flash mid lane, and it's hard for Upset and Vander to fully punish everything. Yeah, I mean, they have Ignite. I'm trying
to calculate the bot lane dynamics, because a lot of the things you look at in the bottom lane is who has the push, who's going to get level 2 first, do you have any kill threats? And I don't really see that much kill threat from either of these lanes. Shen's very difficult to kill. Siphon Power from Whippo gives him a bit of a shield as well.
I think people underrate Phil's damage in the early game, especially if you can properly bounce with the E. Like, you're all in around level 2 and 3, also with Ignite there. Combined with them from Upset, if you overstep, is enough to either almost kill you or actually take you down. Broxah, there's no flash on Nukeduck. This is definitely how you camp mid lane. Level 1, level 2, they're here.
Flash in from Broxah, but Nukeduck does try and just taunt through. They're going to go for the double tower dive. Broxah gets first blood. Amazing on his way here. Tries to catch up Broxah, but can't do it. Flashes the ball.
No, not in range.
The Shroud as well keeps Broxah alive and amazing, just chasing around. Hylissang already roamed up. Flash torn once again underneath the tower. Fnatic do not care about those turrets.
But insane strategy. It's what they tried to do against Misfits as well. You hard camp for Caps in the mid lane. He's your star player. Level 1, the support forces your flash. Level 2, the jungler tower dives you between 2 turrets, and it's so cleanly executed because what happened the moment they started a tower dive, if you look at the minimap, look at Shen from Hylissang. He's already moving. He knows there might be a fight after this. Broxer goes in, Nukta tries his best to get out, but he can't without the flash. And when the Trundle joins, again, on the minimap, Hylissang is on his way. He's moved much earlier. The whole thing is set up in advance. Amazing does not flash in range to actually get Broxer to take some damage. And now the Shen is here to once again secure another kill. Like, this is insane skirmish. It's at such a high level from Fnatic. And so few teams will actually punish you like this from losing your flash level 1. He didn't even mess up. He just got surprised by a Shen sitting in a brush.
It's just such good play by all of Fnatic. Hylissang's own Broxer being willing to do a double tower dive at level 3. Even getting the right pathing in so that he wasn't spotted by Nukeduck.
And Caps didn't even use flash, which means Amazing can't just gank and kill him to return the favor. Nukeduck needs level 6. He's been set behind already. Orianna will perma-push now against him and not be afraid of an all-in. This is such a good start from Fnatic. Looking at, well, the one lane that gets the advantage on Schalke, it's the mid lane. It's the Yasuo, it's Nukeduck, and they're shutting that down instantly.
And one of the key lanes for Fnatic is Caps in that mid lane. Ever since Reckless left, he's the guy you look at and you say, he's going to carry. He's the guy that will play the Aurelia and get 15 kills in a game. Getting him ahead, getting him double buffs is such a strong start for Caps.
Look at the stats as well from him. Insane KDA so far, even though I normally don't like to use that number, but when it's this high from just 2 games you played, like, it shows how dominant you were. We'll say a lot of it was a 15-0 score against Unicorns Love that helps. Hylissang is mid again. Soon we'll get the award for most annoying support ever, but he loves this playstyle.
I love it so much from Hylissang though. Like, being a support main myself, I actually watched his POV stream back from last week, and I was like, I need to pay attention to what Hylissang does to get his lanes ahead. And he didn't care about bot lane. He's just like, I'm going to roam, I'm going to gank Senkooks as much as I can in the mid lane, and that's exactly what he's doing once again.
Vanda's reading it this time. Amazing is also around, so now they understand, okay, something's going to happen. But that's why the Victor pick makes sense. They just need wave clear. Yeah. They don't need kill pressure bot. They just need wave clear all the time, so this Shen can roam. On the side of Schalke, if it's left 1v1, I mean, Victor has no issue pushing against the Rise, so Fnatic will have a way to actually play multiple lanes with the roaming support.
Schalke already behind in this game, playing from behind the 8-ball, as you would say in pool, in a very tricky situation. And once again, Broxer coming for the gank mid.
And they would say behind in goals in football,
yeah,
behind in time in the Tour de France. Fnatic with the yellow jersey so far.
And Nukeduck leading the peloton, but unable to catch up.
Definitely unable, falling really far. And there's the kill pressure, maybe.
This is what you can do, though. Kill pressure down towards the bottom side. Hylissang ignited and upset. And Vanda will get a kill down towards the bottom side.
Never underrate what a fiddle lane can do early. While that happened, though, the turret died. In mid lane, at 6.5 minutes, the turret died. Because they're investing so much time around the lane to try and shut down Nukeduck. He's in 25 CS. If you tune in right now, you've not watched the last 7 minutes. Nukeduck has not played a terrible game.
He hasn't really been allowed to play League of Legends.
Exactly. He was legit ganked level 1, forced to flash, got towered over level 2 and died. Like, it's impossible for him to play League of Legends in this game, and it's all due to the strategy of Fnatic.
It's what the best teams do, though. They shut down the key members on the enemy team, and Fnatic still vying to be the best in Europe, our Spring Split champions. Said, I had a really interesting sort of revelation when Caps did an interview last week where he said, like, the split itself, we don't care if we're first or if we're sixth. As long as we get to playoffs, we really just want to try and experiment, learn what works for us, and try things out. And then you look at games like this, and it's like, if this is them experimenting, if this is them trying things out, how much stronger are they going to be when we get to playoffs, when we get to Worlds? How strong is this Fnatic lineup?
This Fnatic lineup right now, I think, over the last couple of weeks have looked like the strongest in Europe. And that says a lot because we have some very good top teams in G2 and Misfits fighting against them. And Schalke trying to be one of those top teams as well. But they're mechanically just very gifted, and they understand how far they can push it. And that's kind of one of the key things. You can play aggressive. A lot of teams are trying to do that in Europe. Half the teams are failing when they try to do it. They overdive, you know, they take the wrong fight. But Fnatic don't do that lately. This game is not over yet, though. Sadly for Nukeduck, it is really far from being over because he's gonna probably receive another gank soon. There's an ulti from a Nocturne that can be used, and what happens in this meta so often is when you lose mid, you just lose access to the river, and you lose access to Rift Scuttlers, you lose access to the Drakes, and that's such a huge part of the enemy team snowballing on experience against you. Amazing is not gonna be able to do a lot. Luckily, there is now ulti from Nukeduck, so if they want to try something, they can. But Caps, again, did not use his flash, and Stopwatch is now available past 8 minutes.
If you want to see what it's like to be on the receiving end of this sort of attention in the early game, you can jump on over to twitch.tv/RiotGames2, where you can see Nukeduck's stream. He is playing in windowed mode. I hope he's not using the Fnatic gear flick, though.
Bot lane!
Bot lane. Once again, the kill pressure comes out, and Schalke find an avenue down towards this bottom side.
And it's good from Schalke to step away from a mid lane. You can't win at the moment. Go somewhere else, secure kills for yourself. They need to try and get a turret with it if they go for another gank. For now, though, you grab the kills. Went on to Amazing this time around. Maybe you get a bit of vision, and that's it, because there is no Drake for you to kill on the Schalke side.
This was actually one of the weaknesses we saw from Fnatic last week against Misfits. The only avenue Misfits could really play through was that bottom lane. They sneak in. Fnatic are so intent on securing river control that they don't think about this second bush, and it cost them last week, and it cost them once again here.
That's what Schalke needs. Top lane, Chachi is winning with the Cho'Gath. It is one of the great picks against other tanks as well. Obviously not been ganked or anything because all the attention went mid, so there is positive signs for Schalke. If you look at the two side lanes, they're just so far behind in mid that it means they're so far down in gold.
Schalke are on a 4-0 winning streak as well, but you look at the next 4 games they have to play. Fnatic today, G2 tomorrow, Roccat, who have looked strong, and Misfits. If they can get 2, maybe 3 wins out of that, I think they should be very happy.
I mean, that was the big test, right? The question was, could they beat Giants, H2K, Unicorn, Splice to sit in the top 6 spot? Look like a team who will make playoffs, and they did that. They won all the games. The fact they're now playing all the top teams, you can then argue saying because you already went 4-0, you can afford to lose to top teams and still be in a good spot for playoffs. But I think for Schalke, it's just aiming for way more right now. And this game, if they manage to bounce back after that start, it really shows how good they can be. But Fnatic on full control, and when Fnatic win the early game, they never stop. They just continue to force plays against you. Hylissang and Brox are being the main guys trying to set it up this game.
They're in such a strong position as well. 2,500 gold ahead. They're going to get the Rift Herald here. Amazing. Maybe looking to steal it away, but you've got 50 CS in the mid lane as well. Chachi coming across, Caps there. Eye is open, Broxer secures it, and now Amazing may have to flush out of the back of the pit. Instead, they decide they want to keep pushing in. Stand United onto Broxer. He jumps straight on towards Nukeduck. Here comes the middle, though, and they've got Caps caught out on that backline. Silence into the stopwatch. Nukeduck still alive. Realm Warp in from Upset. This is what Schalke needed to come back from a poor early game. They find a pick onto Caps.
I love that Schalke are trying to take the fight, knowing they have enough members here to actually do it. Vander was hiding in the brush as well, so he got a perfect ult onto Caps. Source is low, but Upset is only level 7. Can Amazing do something?
He's still had a good pillar here. Upset tanking up the tower.
Oh! That's a lot of damage. Source is still around. He loves to be in this position, man.
Here comes Vander. Flashes it into the fear. Soaz probably doesn't love to be in this position. Amazing!
They get it in the end, but look how much time he's buying. Bot lane turret is going to die now because Whitworth didn't join the top lane fight. He stayed bot lane. That's going to be the first or second turret, sorry, to Fnatic.
Got Rift Herald as well. Visit Chachi.
Can he stop it?
He can stop it.
Yeah.
It gets stopped. No Rift Herald for you, Fnatic. Chachi once again steps up for his team. That could be a game-defining play.
He had a control ward behind the Nocturne to see what was happening, but because Source bought so much time top, Schalke cannot trade for a turret. Yes, they stopped the bot lane tier 2 from dying, but they already lost a tier 1. Source did buy enough time. And also he forced a flash. I think actually he forced multiple flashes. I think Vander had to flash in as well right after. Let's see the play around Rift Herald. Sadly for Schalke, they do not get the smite. But then look at Vander's positioning. I like this. He's hiding in the brush. He knows it's not warded because Nukeduck has a sweeper going. And that's how he can surprise Caps when the fight starts. And that's going to be the kill they need. And the Rise has moved up here as well from base. But while this is happening, Victor's getting bot lane turret. And this tower dive takes too long.
They weren't quite able to quickly take a tower off the back of that. As a replay in the bottom lane of that Rift Herald being stopped. This is a thing with channeling. You can always interrupt it, and if you do with Rift Herald, of course, it disintegrates, disappears into the void once again. goes home maybe, has a cuppa, has a nice snack.
Oh, hello.
Yeah, but he's just gonna get feared away.
Yeah, you're right.
It's pretty safe, Shen. Support.
All right, let's try and look at the game once again. Schalke not killed any turrets yet. Mid lane is still getting pushed in by Caps all the time on his Orianna here. Nuke, it's hard for him to trade against him.
Gonna try to. Shockwave comes out. There's the paranoia as well. And once again, Fnatic shut down the key man on Schalke. Chachi getting chased away here as well. Boxer with the fear tether will be able to keep Chachi in range of Caps. And it's another kill for Fnatic. Taunt comes out onto Upset, has to cleanse it away. Ultimate coming out from Upset, trying to chase into Hylissang, but the fear as Whippo flashes away isn't enough.
TP behind
them. There's Soaz. Runwalk tries to get them away, but the explosive blast. Oh! Upset, and Vander just able to dodge around the side of that.
Caps is on his way. More Fnatic players are trying to do something top lane here. They already killed Chachi and Nuke from before, so they know they have enough members to do this. Will they just get the last out of turret, or will Schalke fight back? The last minion died there, so Fnatic will have to step away for now. But we got to see what happens around mid when you get the advantage with a Nocturne as well, killing him. They're not stopping top lane.
It's just so crazy to watch a Fnatic
stopping
game.
Top lane.
They are stopping top lane. It almost looked like Schalke were back in the game for a little bit. You know, they closed the gold gap to about 2,000. They were still able to get some kills, able to get some tempo, and then Fnatic just like, nah, flick a switch, let's go, engage mid, get 2 kills, push towards top lane as well. Unfortunate they didn't get a little bit more.
And that's
a 4,000 gold lead now.
That's from the advantage they built earlier, because it's even in kills, so like Schalke are clearly fighting back here. But again, it's so easy for a Nocturne to just completely abuse lanes without any turrets early game, because whenever he clicks ulti, he should get a kill. Brox has played this game very well around Caps, and he's gonna look for another one, most likely against Nuke. Like, there's no flash. Infernal being started. Soaz has to run from top lane. He's on his way. Schalke do have to feast on Chachi, but there's no ulti on Vander, so the Fiddlesticks not able to use the full kit.
Fnatic
gonna get it down. Feast as well.
Here. Feast gets the Infernal, but Fnatic aren't done yet. Hylissang looking for the taunt on Nuke. Can't quite connect. Decides against going for it.
Oh,
remember,
it's
this
not
tower's
over.
down. Hylissang can get a perfect flank off here. Vander's like, oh, not in the best of spots. Gravity Field comes out. Whippo knocked up by Chachi. No Feast, remember, on the choke. Has just used Soaz. Watch Soaz. Watch the veteran from Fnatic as Caps takes down amazing Soaz. Gets the knockback onto Upset. He has to run back towards his tower. Nuke cannot connect from the side. Whippo takes down Upset. Broxer takes down Nuke, and Fnatic take down Schalke. A perfect fight from them.
Fnatic, they saw 5 members at Infernal Drake, and they knew, okay, we might not stop the Drake, but we can force a fight. We have the tools to engage. We can flank them. Soaz walked from top lane when that Drake was started by Schalke, and he got all the way behind the Schalke team. This is after the Drake. So Schalke knew what to do when they were going offensive. Kill the Drake. They didn't have a plan to get out after they'd already secured the objective, because now they're just getting flanked from multiple sides. Here's the Gragas coming, and Schalke at this point are trying to get a kill, but there's just no way to fully disengage from this Fnatic team, and it's a bit of a slow fight at first. It's never really in favor of Schalke.
It's just so split up. Fnatic picking off the key targets they need. End up in a 4-for-0 exchange. You can see the damage numbers there. Amazing. 21 DPS. Probably not even DPS, probably less than that.
Just damage.
Yeah, 21 damage. Fnatic, when they get a win, they sink their teeth deep into the enemies. You can see they accelerate the game. They have a major gold lead for a lot of it, 61% of the time, and they have massive Baron power plays.
Yeah, that's the one we're looking for as one of the next big objectives after the top lane turret dies eventually. Schalke have been trying to fight their way back in this game, and I feel like if you have, you know, a Yasuo comp, you kind of have to. You can't just sit back and watch all your outer turrets die, because you can't really move around the map at all. But this key pick has been shut down by Fnatic's early strategy. Baron is still not alive, so it's just a play for jungle camps and the top lane tier 1. Kind of looking for where the next fight is going to happen. We're still mainly on wave clear duty. Meanwhile, it is Broxer and Caps just one-shotting people left and right.
And Broxer now has the Duskblade of Drakthar as well. Caps building himself up with that Luden's Echo and the needlessly large rod. Fnatic going to push for this top lane tower. Still a minute and a half before the Baron spawns, so pretty easy secure for them. Schalke still unable to put themselves on the turret score.
And because Schalke has fallen behind, they can't trade. You always want to cross map. People send 3 people bot, you send 3 people top, you kill a turret. They can't do it because the lanes, they can't really push them out properly, knowing that Fnatic can always force a fight with the Nocturne. Brox is level 13 at the moment. Look at everyone on Schalke, 10, 11 on their side. Like, this jungler is so far ahead in the game, and Nocturne is one of the worst junglers to fall behind against because you know the moment you step forward, your team can't help you when he pops the ulti, and you probably get one shot.
A very difficult minefield to navigate now if you are a Schalke player. There's so few opportunities for them. Really, you're looking for a big fight around Baron. Maybe you get a good Fiddle 6 ultimate off. Maybe NukeDuck gets a couple of man knock-up as well.
Yeah, I mean, Fiddle is one of the supports if the enemy team tries to move into vision. Oh, mid lane!
So as flashed in there, NukeDuck was able to dodge around the realm wall coming out as well. Schalke maybe finding the fight they needed, but it's only so as they got caught out. The knock-up, chain CC, but they're all in the midst of the shockwave. It's not enough damage yet from Caps. Whippo still up in the top lane, not reacting to this. Ignite came down on NukeDuck. Caps dodging and ducking his way around. No flash to Fischio, but I like where your head is at.
Not in range for him here, but another fight, another time where Victor is just pushing in a side lane. That's his job so far in this game. 1 kill for Schalke, and again, I want to highlight a difference from Schalke compared to last split. When they fell behind last split, they did absolutely nothing. They sat down, they saw you kill everything, and then they lost. At least now they're trying to make plays. They're trying to force their way back in the game. They got a kill here, but because you are behind, you always lose something. And it's that Victor just pushing and pushing and pushing in your side lanes. Whippo's been part of killing every turret except for the mid lane one in this game. Not really been able to join the big fights other than the one in the bot lane.
And because Fnatic is so far ahead, they don't need him in the fights either. He does so much damage by himself. You can see here NukeDuck dodging around. This is actually a very good engage for Schalke. They realize that Fnatic are trying to force the plays. And then the chain CC on Soaz is sublime.
Yeah, it is obviously a good kill for them. They're forced to run away after, so once again, they can't get something after the kill. Yeah. They haven't gotten any turrets. I don't even think any of the Fnatic turrets are actually low right now. Just panning over them real quick. Yeah, every single one is around 90% HP. It kind of shows for Schalke that they can invest everything into 1 kill, and then they can step away right after. And that's why you're kind of waiting again for Fnatic to slow down around Baron and give you enough time for 2 items at least. Vander is spotted.
Shockwave used and Vander's dead, but Caps may pay for it with his life. The chase comes in, there's the Paranoia as well. Caps just running for the heals. Paranoia all the way onto the back line. And look at the damage on Upset. Roxas says thank you very much, and Schalke were baited by Caps. Explosive Cask knocks NukeDuck away, but now Chachi's not in the best of positions either. He's just going to have to run back.
Hey, Victor's shining.
Whippo joins the fight, finally. Chachi trying to get the piece down on Caps, but can't get close enough to knock up. Chachi, nom, takes one for himself.
All right, Fnatic, you win another fight here, but in the end, mid laner died. That's a shutdown over for Vizicachi. No Baron being started with Caps dead. Instead, Whippo might look to one-shot Vander. He's hiding around the corner. No ult, though, so I don't think he can do it. Fnatic, that fight actually looked pretty risky, because the ulti was used to kill Vander, and it looked like they'd get him. No!
Oh!
He's alive.
Outplayed.
Worth it.
That Fiddle's just mechanically better than Whippo.
Someone got a face check. Typically, it's the support.
It's not the easiest when you're playing a squishy support like Fiddlesticks, though.
Definitely not. NukeDuck top lane currently sits on a Phantom Dancer, and that's about it.
Yeah, he looks like he's moving towards a GA next.
All right,
as well.
That's a great ward against Fiddle, who likes to sit in the Raptor camp. He gets one shot instantly. Welcome to being support when you're behind. I thought for a moment they would kill Caps instantly, but because he got the flash off, 2 members flash after him, do not get anything from it, and then Brox is just like, yeah, I'm fit. I'm just going to kill your backline instantly, and Schalke can't win the fight here. Baron is being started. We got to go straight to live. That's Caps. That's not Baron yet. That's the Baron.
Hitler's tank skilled amazing, so Fnatic can go back to the Baron as well pretty easily here. No jungler on the enemy team, but always Chachi waiting in the wings. Has that feast. A lot of true damage from the Cho'Gath if he can get it. It is Sang just trying to block off the path. Control ward.
Vander can ult in. There's no ward in the brush.
Puts the control ward in. Here comes the paranoia all on towards the Fiddlesticks. Goes golden, but he's not going to survive for too long. Whippo takes him out. The shockwave pulls Visit Chachi back again. And Fnatic look more and more like a team at the top of the EU LCS as they just push Schalke around the map. Another kill for them. They don't even need to go for the Baron.
Oh, there's no way for Schalke to survive the initial engage from the Nocturne. They simply also don't have the damage to turn it around properly. They are too far behind on items, and Fnatic, they go straight back towards it. Soa's looking for more.
Nuketoke will use the wind wall, but Whippo cannot quite get the chase in time.
He can farm minions, though.
Oh, yeah.
He's real good at farming minions. 250 CS on his side. You would think he's the main carry.
You gave him 20 CS more than he's got, but sure.
Oh, I thought it said 50.
No, it said 230.
It's fine. I'm only wearing my glasses so I can see better.
However, we are 25 minutes into Fisher, and
that's what I meant.
It's an 11,000 gold lead.
That is what I meant.
For Fnatic. 14 kills to 6 up. We said last week they probably looked like the best team in the EU LCS when they defeated Misfits. I think off the back of this performance as well, they're doing pretty well. We're going to have another look at one of those last fights. This replay is brought to you by Acer Predator.
Thank you, Acer Predator. I love when you bring the replays, like Amazing Dying. Let's see, right after when we have Broxa, bit of a Predator. Oh, look at that, you know.
Isn't he running electric?
It's a long replay, we're waiting for it. Spoiler, he killed them.
He's actually running lethal tempo on the Nocturne.
Yeah.
Something we do see from time to time.
You don't want to run Predator on Nocturne.
No, but I was thinking electrocute.
Oh,
the extra
no, it's been lethal tempo for like a couple of weeks.
Avedius runs electrocute though.
He's a mid lane Nocturne.
That's true, that's true. Once again, the jump in, and Amazing is done for. Has not had the impact on this game he would have wanted. Schalke still could force a fight here. They catch out Soaz, fear him up, knock him up as well, and Soaz gets kept alive with a second unit. 3-man knock-up from Nuketoke, but he just doesn't have the damage, and Fnatic eat him for dinner. Chachi pops the Gargoyle Stoneplate, gets into the Realm War, gets yanked right back out of it. Once again, Fnatic get engaged on, but somehow turn it back around.
They are just in full control. They are so far ahead in the game here. Will they finally get the Baron? They've tried a few times. They always end up just killing Schalke instead. And now they will secure the objective. That play here with the Yasuo, the 3-man ult. In the late game, you're screaming, but
that's great.
It's insane.
Ooh.
Now he jumped in, he didn't have any damage.
Yeah, second item GA. It seems to be a running theme for Yasuo's against Fnatic. We saw Senkooks do it last week as well.
I feel like it's the, okay, we got one last fight. We need to win that fight to stop the Baron or the game is over. Because otherwise, Sterix would probably be the better defensive choice. Try and get GA, of course, is not very expensive. Here's the play in, all leaning for the Gragas, no feast nearby, and then Nuketoke, he sees it, big knock-up, jumps in, sanded for him, not enough damage, and didn't actually connect onto Soaz, I believe.
It looks like he got the knock-up, but Soaz was down by the time.
Yeah, he got the knock-up, it was onto Victor, he ended up bolting, but in the end, it wouldn't have mattered even if he killed Soaz right there. Not much else Schalke can do. Fnatic pushing her again, going to just take down the last few outer turrets.
And they continue to extend this gold lead. They're 14,000 gold ahead at 26 minutes.
It is a very one-sided game now. It all started at level 1 into level 2 ganks. Tower dives, everything. Nuketoke is behind.
Yellowstone's just going to be able to chase him off. Like, Nuketoke's like, I'll take any gold I can get. Give me the wards, give me the wards, feed them to me. But,
oh, he needs that eye edge, and man, it's so far away.
So far away. Something else that's far away for Schalke is any hope of victory as Fnatic close in on the win this game. Trying to equalize with G2 in second spot. Misfits, of course, still leading the pack, but Fnatic continue to go from strength to strength. Shockwave lands onto Amazing. Here comes the Paranoia as well. Broxa is dominating in the jungle v jungle matchup. It's been all Broxa all the time. GA's popped. Chachi trying to do what he can against Whippo up towards the top side of this fight, but you have to feel that it's the death knell for Schalke here. Fnatic just pushing into the Nexus towers. Who even cares about taking down the inhibitors? The minions will do that for you. They get the top inhib and they're looking for the win.
Not even at 30 minutes yet. Broxa has been playing a great game. He took Amazing's job. He's been taking his life as well multiple times in this one. and now he wants the Nexus.
Schalke trying to do what he can to save these Nexus towers, but Fnatic are having none of that. One down, the second soon to follow. Fnatic go from strength to strength to strength and look like the best team in the EU LCS.
Today, our top teams have looked clean. They've dominated. Misfits over Unicorns, G2 in the last game over Spice, Fnatic in this game over Schalke. They're showing us good strategies in the early game to get ahead. They know which lane to play around, and they're executing on the plays. That is kind of the big thing here for Misfits, Fnatic, and G2 Esports so far. A clear gap with the top three and down to the rest of the EU LCS, because Schalke, the moment that mid lane turret fell at 6.5 minutes, they had no control of the map. They tried to gank bot lane a few times, but they were so far down in damage, they just could not properly fight. And Broxah clicks R, and he gets 2 kills. Normally you only get 1. He kept getting 2.
It's just so good at the moment. And the addition of Whippo, the use of this sub, a lot of people doubted it at the start, but Fnatic just look stronger every week. Look like a team that has diverse playstyles if they need them. Look like a team that can basically take anyone on their best day.
I mean, you're Fnatic. You have to be able to do that.
It's true.
This is currently your region. You won the spring split. They're looking to try and win the summer split, but I know we called them now based on the last couple of games, looking like the best team, but it's one game to play against Misfits. We can't just count them out instantly.
That's true. That's true. I mean, Misfits is still a very strong team.
Exactly, and like G2 Esports with the win earlier today, they play against Schalke tomorrow. They might be able to do exactly what Fnatic just did today. And then we again have all these teams fighting for it. So we're very exciting towards the top of the standings. I like the strategy of Victor bot lane. You just push minions. That's literally all you have to do. And then your support, level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, level 5, is sitting in the mid lane. And they try to do the same against Misfits. Hylissang and Broxah going to mid is such a strong combination for Fnatic and so hard to shut down.
The question is how you shut it down. Do you ban out Hylissang? They got rid of the Pike, didn't work. Do you have to ban the Shen? Do you have to ban
There's too many Roman supports.
There's too many options for you.
There are so many viable supports. Defensive, offensive, roaming. Things where you can taunt flash. Suddenly, you are dead.
Yep.
And that is something Hylissang will utilize. It's his meta. It's Mickey's meta. And both these supports are using it.
Schalke, on the other hand, sitting at 6 and 5 with Roccat and Vitality, 2 teams that took a win today.
And that's kind of cool thing where we have the race for first place, and then we have a little gap, and then we have this group of people fighting for the last 3 playoff spots. It's no longer just 4 teams locked in up there because Vitality have dropped down. That was the case a couple of weeks ago. So with Schalke, with Splice, with Vitality, and Giants sitting just outside,
maybe even Unicorns. Like we always talk about Unicorns as the scrim gods.
It's true. I mean, these teams are still in range. They can still do it, but again, there is a gap down. So we have 3 different. I would say we have 4 different groups. We have fight for first. Current fight for playoffs among Schalke, Splice, Vitality. Fight to try and latch on to these teams with Unicorns of Love and Giants. And then we have H2K on their own down the bottom.
Yeah, they're not in the best of spots. But I enjoyed the little switch up they did today with Shook and Kadril. And after our match of the week, we have got Caps, Broxah, and Hylissang as candidates for player of the game. Head on over to Outlaw Esports on Twitter and vote for your favorite.
Not the man pushing minions.
Whippo did a great job. And he will be joining us for the EU LCS post-game lobby, so don't say too many bad things about him.
There's nothing wrong in pushing minions.
I feel like you were going on a little bit of a flame tangent.
No, I was just saying that
you do it every now and again. You're just like...
You're making it sound like flame.
90% win rate on Zyra. You're not.
That's pretty great, though.
It's pretty good all around. Vote for Hylissang is the important thing from that message. And for more on Fnatic's win, let's head on over to Law, who's with Caps and Broxah.
Thanks, Medic. Indeed, I was joined with Broxah and Caps. How are you doing, guys?
Well, we just won, so pretty good feeling, doing pretty well right now, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it must be an important win for you guys. Did you expect to win this one today, Caps?
I mean, I don't want to say we expected to win, but because we never really expected to win, but we definitely hoped we would win, and it was definitely an important win because of how many teams Schalke beat this split. So it's definitely nice that we could take them down.
What was your mindset going into this matchup? Like, what did you work on specifically, Broxah?
Well, I think for us, especially after last week where we beat Misfits, it was really important to calm down a bit and obviously, on paper, Schalke is supposed to be a weaker team than Misfits, so it was just really important for us to do the same routines and, just not slack in any area, make sure that we expect them to be a really strong team and that we come in as well prepared as we could possibly be.
Well, you had an amazing week last week, so you said you had to calm down. Can you elaborate on that? Like, how do you do it?
Well, I think all of us were pretty hyped after beating Misfits, and we were really excited about being the first team to take them down. And I think our preparation going into the Misfits match was really, really good. And generally, our preparation has gone better and better throughout the split, and now we are actually going pretty down in details. So usually before going into the game, we already know what's going to happen from level 1 to 5. For example, this game, we obviously knew that we were going to take their flashes, dive the mid lane level 3, all this kind of stuff, all planned.
Perfect. Now, Caps, as you guys said, Misfits is sitting on top spot pretty comfortably at the moment. Do you expect to overcome them as the split ends until week 9?
Well, it's kind of in our hands. It's in Misfits' hands. So in that sense, I expect us to stay second. I think that's all we can do ourselves. We can win our games, and then if they lose their games, then that's nice. But at the end of the day, it's up to them. And if they win their games, then props to them, and we will just have to beat them in the final.
Yeah, even though you've been on fire lately, as I said before, like with the last week, especially for your Caps, how do you explain this consistency and the fact that you're always keeping it up?
Well, I think we're a really experienced team, so that helps a lot. And usually if we start getting a bit too excited, or if anyone gets a little too cocky or a little too confident in themselves, then the rest of us will make sure to calm people down. We have a coaching staff to help out. And yeah, we're just trying our best to come in as well prepared as we can into the matches and making sure that everything is on point, both when it comes to draft, but also like all the in-game errors, just trying to make the game as consistent as possible and remove all the random factors from the game.
Well, perfect. Now, tomorrow you'll be facing H2K, so besides their performance, from an outside perspective, how do you explain this struggle from the team, Caps?
Can you repeat? What?
How do you explain the struggle H2K has been going through recently, since you'll be facing them tomorrow?
So I don't think H2K has been as weak as they look. I think they had a lot of close games. I think in previous years there's been other teams that's been struggling where they end up getting some lucky wins, and HK just didn't get those wins. Obviously, today they played with Shook, which is... no, not with Shook, but they played with Kadel and Shook mid lane,
yeah.
Which is a bit unfortunate for them. And I don't know what lineup they're going to play with tomorrow, but if they're going to repeat that lineup, then it's a bit unfortunate, I would say.
Yeah, we'll see about that tomorrow. But for now, congratulations on your victory. We're going to send up to PGL with Shux and their guest. Take it away.
Happy for